gonna get working on the Cleveland again. Today, I'm gonna start filing rings. I thought they were pre-filed by the machine shop, but they are not. So we're gonna go through one cylinder at a time, file the rings, like check the gap, put them on the piston, put it off to the side so everything's numbered. And of course, when we're done filing, we'll clean them before we put them on the pistons. And then when we're ready to assemble, we'll take oil on a rag and we'll wipe out the cylinders until the rag comes out clean. So I'll use a paper towel. You're just going to keep wiping it till the rag comes out clean. Then you know you got all the dirt, all the grit, all the metal from machining. And then you're good to start putting the pistons in after that. And I can start checking the rod bearings. So anyway, I'm going to throw you on time lapse. This is going to be long, tedious. Like, it's 5 in the morning. I'm probably going to be a good 2-3 hours at least gapping all these rings, unless I get lucky and they're all pretty close. But I'm not crossing my fingers, so let's get after it.
Smoky garage on a Saturday night, sparks flying high like a neon light. There's a V12 rumbling where it don't belong.
It's been about an hour and 45 minutes. It's gone a lot quicker than I thought. I thought I should maybe show what I'm doing. So if you start the ring in, flatten it out, and then you use your piston to push it in straight and level. Then your ring is sitting square in the bore. And that's when you want to check what your gap is. So I'm looking for 26 thou on the top ring and 26 to 34 on the bottom. So if we look what they are now, before I grind it, like before I file them, we'll see exactly what they are. I don't have to go much, is the thing. They're pretty close. So it's about 17 thou, because I think 18 will be too tight. Yeah, so I'm 18, well, 18 fits. Hang on. Yeah, it's 18 thou, so I'm only pulling 8 thou out of them right now, which isn't a whole bunch to be able to fit my 26. So this is a bottom ring, and my instructions that came with the rings were very vague, so I went right to the Sealed Power website, and I looked up to make sure I knew which was the top and bottom ring. The bottom one should have the chamfer facing down. Of course, it says on the top of it. And if you look at the outsides of them, I don't know how well it'll show up on the camera, but the top ring has a coating to help it seat, and the top ring is actually shinier than the bottom ring, and the top ring is a full square cut. It doesn't have the chamfer, so that's how you tell them apart. So I'll quick grind this one, and I'll show you. And I've just got I say grind, I've got a file sitting in my bench vise, and I'm just touching the rings together against the file and working it back and forth. And as you can see on the video, there's a couple of them I had to do 2 or 3 times. Well, most of them I had to do at least twice, but there's a couple I had to do at least 3 times to get them squared. So I'll quick grind this one up, and then we'll test fit it, and then I'll do the top ring. Okay, so I filed the bottom ring, I've set it in, and my feeler gauge, there's just the slightest amount of drag. So I know I'm about 26, 20, or I know I'm about 27 or 28. So if I take my feeler gauges now, and of course these are no-go, no-go gauges, some of these. Sorry, this one is a go, no-go. So it's 25 to 27, 25 fits, 27 fits. Here's a 30. 30 just fits in there. So I know I'm gapped to about 30 thou on that one. So I'll quick knock out that top ring. We'll get them cleaned up, get that one put on the piston, and then we'll start cleaning up the cylinders so we can get the pistons put in. Okay, so now that all the rings are done and on the pistons, and I've cleaned the pistons and I've cleaned the rods, we're just going to clean out the cylinders here. And this is what they taught us when I went to school. You take a clean piece of paper towel and you wipe out the cylinder with some fresh oil. And you want your paper towel to come out clean. So no black, no brown, no nothing. The oil just helps pick up everything off the cylinder walls. So you can see there's a little bit of black in here. Just take another clean piece. And keep going until your rag comes out, or your paper towel comes out clean. So I'm going to keep going on all the cylinders on this bank. And once this bank is done, I'll quick clean up the crank journals too, like for the rod journals. And then we will slide these pistons in. And also don't forget to clean your ring compressor. Because if it's like any ring compressor I've ever had in any shop, they're always left oily, so they're covered in dirt. So after I'm done cleaning out all these cylinders, I'll clean out the ring compressor, and then we'll start sliding pistons in on this bank. We'll get them in, and we will check for clearance on our bearings for our rods. So I'm gonna get cleaning. I'll catch up with you guys when I reach the next step. Welcome back out to the garage. It has been close to 2 months since we've worked on the Cleveland, but I finally got rod bearings measured and ordered because we had to dig around to see if they were lost or what. Turns out he never had rod bearings. So I measured stuff up. I ordered a set of rod bearings, and I have put 7 out of the 8 pistons and rods in this engine. I have checked clearance on the bearings and torqued all of them. So now we'll just do the 8th one. I figured you didn't need to see it all. So we'll quick throw the 8th one in, and we'll roll it over. We'll check the tolerance. We'll make sure everything's in spec. We'll torque that last one, and then the short block is done at that point, other than timing set and oil pump. So we can get going on the oil pump. Then we can start figuring out the cam timing. I do have a degreeing tool that I've owned for 15 or so years, maybe more, that I've never actually properly used, so we're gonna get it done. So yeah, I'll quick get the rings aligned on that piston and lube it, and we will get it put in, and then we will quick plastic gauge that rod, and we'll see. All of them have been somewhere between 15 and 20 thousandths of an inch, and I think if I look at spec, I think it's 15 to 30 or 15 to 25 is spec. So a couple of tighter ones were just a little looser than 15, and a couple of the looser ones were closer to 20. It's just kind of in between on the plastic gauge, so within spec. So yeah, let's get this piston put in. So when you're doing this, the way I like to do it is I make sure that my ring compressor is not down as far as my piston skirt so that the skirt can get in the bore properly. And then always check which way your piston has to go, whether there's a dot, whether your rods are marked. Mine has the valve reliefs go to the top. So then you slide it in nice, and you watch when you're putting it in, you gotta watch that the rod doesn't scar the crap out of the cylinders. And then you take wooden handle with a hammer, and you guide the rod with your other hand, but be careful you don't pinch it. Work it in slowly, and then double check that your ring compressor stays tight to the block so that you don't break the piston ring. So if I look here, my compressor lifted a little bit above this ring, this top ring. So what I have to do is recompress it and make sure this is held tight. and make sure that the compressor, this style of compressor, you just got to be careful and make sure that it stays flush to the block. Make sure that it's on the ring the whole way around. And then all the rings are in the block below the deck. There's no chunks missing out of any rings, so I didn't crack, break, snap a ring. And then, like I said, you just tighten it down with your off end. And I have the bearing already in this rod. So as I put it down, you just get gentler and gentler taps until you hear the tone change. You know you're all the way. Now, you can flip the block over, throw some plastic gauge on the crank, put our cap on, torque our cap, remove it, and check that plastic gauge for squish. And these are the cheapo ring compressors. Like this one, these were my uncle's from when he was a teenager, and he's in his 60s now. So, and I don't even know if they were new then. But they were free to me, which is my favorite price. And if I'm honest, the old ones are probably better than new ones. And then as per usual, when you're working with plastic gauge, you lose half of it. So always make sure you have more than you need. So hopefully you're able to see this fairly well. But you take this little piece of plastic gauge out of the paper wrapping. Don't drop your garbage inside the engine. And you lay it across. And some people say you put it at an angle, some people say you put it dead straight. I just like to make sure it's there. Rod cap on, you make sure it's clean. I wiped them out. Put it on, so tang to tang always. Like there's that little alignment notch, always. On. So the nuts on. And then different people say different things. I never use power tools in a bottom end on assembly. I always do them by hand. And of course, I have my camera far too close to do this one, so we'll just tighten it down. Grab our torque wrench. Spec in the book, spec on a Cleveland is 45 to 50 foot-pounds. So I set my torque wrench to 50. And then I always double check when I'm doing clearances and triple check when I'm doing the final torque. And a lot of people say you're not supposed to double or triple check because you over torque. And I can see the merit in that, especially with a click type torque wrench. But I just like the certainty of knowing that it's done correctly and that you did not miss anything. The other thing you should do, which I did not do, is you should mark every nut after you torque it. You should just put a little yellow line on it so that you know you didn't miss one. So then I just smack the rod down a little bit to get the cap to release. Don't drop them. If you do, always double check that you didn't mar a bearing. We got lucky. Then you take your piece of plastic gauge just like we did with the mains. Check it. It's a little more squished than 20 and a little less than 15. I checked the cap and the block. Block is closer to 20. Or sorry, not the block, the crank. A little closer to 20. I always like to clean the plastic gauge out. I've heard guys say it doesn't matter, but to me, you always leave an engine as clean as you possibly can. So why would you leave this plastic there? But like people do say that it's so malleable and thin, it'll never cause an issue and you'll do more damage scratching it off than you'll putting it or leaving it in there, but I don't know. I always like to err on the safe side because I don't like engine problems. And I like doing engine work, so if I do a good job, I get to do it with other people's money instead of my own. And then it's just the exact same as we just did with checking the tolerance. We put it on, we tighten it, and we torque it to 50 foot-pounds. We double, we triple, we quadruple check it, and then we know we're good. And then that makes all 8 rods, pistons installed. So now the rings have been gapped, the pistons have been installed, the rod bearings have been checked, and we're good. And for anyone that's curious, I checked the crank and I checked the inner diameter of the rod ends, and they were standard sized. Because I don't know what the machine shop did that this engine was done at, because it was done between 10 and 15 years ago, and the bill just says resize rods. I want to triple check, make sure everything was good and not just assume. And it turns out everything in this engine was standard sized for the rod ends and for the crank. So it was just standard bearings. They were easy to get. I had them overnight. I've just been too busy and too lazy to get it done. So I don't remember what all I already filmed previously a month or 2 months ago. So I think we're going to call it here for tonight, guys. Of course, I'm going to keep working, but that you'll have to wait to the next video for. But next, we'll finish by putting the oil pump in, and we'll put the timing set on, and we will degree the camshaft. And I am not going to teach you guys how to degree a camshaft because I'm not a professional at that. I've never done it before. I'm going to learn myself. I can show you the tools. I can give you a link to the instructions on them, but I'm by no means a professional for degreeing a camshaft. I've always put them in at 0 because, you know, that's how they came. Even though every set of instructions, especially with a comp cam, says to degree them. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Instagram. It's @BarkleyBuilt. We'll see you later.